You have heard us talk about this specific revelation that CNN just came out about that absolutely is a huge bombshell of a story. On LukeUncensored.com, for a while now, we were talking about the scientific data, scientists coming forward, presenting this emphasis and theory out there of what CNN just said, specifically talking about a specific study that shows that people who have taken the procedure against the sickness are just as likely to infect someone as someone who hasn't taken this procedure, and that this procedure could in fact be pushing the evolution of new strains that evade protection and might even become worse later down the line. Yes, this is not me saying this. This is not me, YouTube. This is CNN, literally talking about how this procedure could not just be absolutely pointless, but could be making this situation that much worse, as it might be creating new variants, which some scientific scholars say could be responsible for the Delta variant. There is some correlation with, of course, England and Israel being most severely hit by this Delta variant, and also having a country with very high compliance in the medical procedure. Now, again, it's also important to note here that the study that CNN specifically brought up was a computer model rather than an empirical study with empirical evidence, but at least here we could start a discussion. We could have a conversation about what's going on here in an open, scientific, honest way. And let's be honest here, when it comes to federal authorities here, like the CDC, the Surgeon General, Dr. Fauci, they have many times been caught in duplicitous statements. A lot of the authority figures have been caught in contradictory statements, and they seem to change their minds and opinions on issues almost with the changing of the wind here. Let's be honest here. There hasn't been much consistency. Now, it's also important to ask here, with this bombshell article by CNN, is there any circumstantial evidence suggesting this? Well, yes. The fact of Israel and England that I mentioned before is one. Another one is the new CDC data that is showing how 3/4 of the Delta cases are amongst the people who have taken this procedure. And this data is correlated with other places like Gibraltar that had a very high extreme rate of the population that did take this procedure. We have seen their cases skyrocketed up. CNBC released an article highlighting how 74% of people sick in Massachusetts were the ones that took the medical procedure. There's also this article by CBS San Francisco that is highlighting how people who have taken this procedure in a hospital are the ones with, quote, breakthrough cases that are surging within the population who have taken this procedure. And the CDC is now backtracking on claims that we need to make this procedure mandatory. Joe Biden is announcing the possibility of new lockdowns, new restrictions, as of course the government publicly just made a big U-turn on masks, which Joe Biden was recently asked about, since specifically before he said that if you get this procedure, you won't have to wear a mask. He was asked about him making that statement. This was his response.
No longer need to wear a mask. And it seems...
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Denying that he even made those statements, he did. And again, just this lazy lying like this doesn't help anyone. It doesn't build trust in government. NBC News is also reporting that a lot of these breakthrough cases are amongst the people who have taken this procedure.